Mike Shreve here. I'm super excited to be bringing this free content to you. It's going to be a couple videos, as you've seen from the PDF that you've downloaded, but most importantly, what I'm just really excited because this worked really well. It worked a lot better than I thought it was going to, and it's something that you can do today. You could literally set this all up in maybe like 4 or 5 hours maximum and see results within the next 24 to 36 hours yourself. I'm going to, in this video, just go over the results and the overview of the system, as well as the student who I worked with, which was a lot of fun. So as you've seen, as you see the title here, originally I was trying to get one client in 24 hours. We ended up getting two. So this is the student. This was the picture that he gave me. Um, Whatever, he can give me whatever picture he wants. It's kind of funny, but anyways, his name is Sean. He's a police officer in Arizona. He works the night shift, and because of that, that actually allowed us to get this done a lot sooner. I was thinking that it was going to take till Thursday afternoon or maybe Friday afternoon, but because he worked that schedule, we were able to get it all going really fast. He was able to do the process within the same day that I contacted him. Anyways, he doesn't like his job. He wants to have kids, but he doesn't really feel good about having kids because he's a police officer. Feels, he would hate to have something happen on the job or whatever. So he's trying to really break into offline marketing and start his own business, but the problem is he has absolutely no business background whatsoever. It was kind of like a whim that he just one day got on the Warrior Forum or something like that, one of these websites, and found out that you can make money online, and he does like working with people. I mean, that's why he became a police officer, so that's why he's trying to do the offline route. And then he just feels more secure in a service-based job like offline marketing is. And one more thing, up to this point, he hasn't really made any money online whatsoever. He didn't ever try any of the purely online methods. He's just kind of been networking with friends. His dad does actually own a business, so he's just been kind of like trying to go that route, but he hasn't quite decided really on his direction, things like that. So here are the results from what we did. I ended up fronting the money for the process, and it ended up costing me $26.02 between the two ads that we ran. And then the money that was earned was that he was able to close two clients with a $500 upfront retainer, along with the $500 a month recurring. And he actually just ended up white labeling some SEO thing that he had found a long time ago. I didn't particularly care what the service was, because this is not service dependent, as you'll see. Oh, maybe that's in a later slide, but basically, yeah, so he just did white label SEO. He was able to land two separate clients at $500 upfront, and then the $250 a month recurring for those two clients, and that was paid within the 24 hours. So a lot of people, I feel, and we'll talk about this a little bit later, but they feel like they have to drag out the payment process, like get 10 yeses before they get the person to pay. And so I just showed him how to just get them to pay, right away, so they get things started. It works out better for everyone when your client just pays right away and gets things done. So how did we do this? Well, we use these four basic principles, and you'll see throughout the video that these are the four, or the rest of the videos, that these are the four basic principles for this entire process. It's ultra targeting, so it's even doing SEO for yourself, even if you're doing keyword specific stuff, you aren't ultra targeting, because you're not necessarily targeting, and we'll talk about it a little bit later, but you're not necessarily targeting people who are actively who are the right active buyers, right? So there are active researchers, there are active price comparers, there are active all these other things, but we're looking for active buyers. And so we use the ultra targeting methods, which I'll show you in a second. We needed instant leads. We didn't want a week to, for some PPC approval process. We didn't want to wait until our direct mail campaigns had run through the process of getting the print copies, and all that kind of stuff. And we certainly didn't want to wait for SEO. And we also didn't want to sit in front of a phone all day and do cold calling, because Many of you know my thoughts on cold calling. I think it gives the industry a bad name in and of itself because there are so many cold calling hacks out there. But it is also not great for I just don't think it's a very good business model for the solo entrepreneur who doesn't have maybe a team to call for him. If you're trying to do this on yourself, you need the leads to come to you. So we need those instant leads. Just for efficiency and all that kind of stuff. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. And then we needed a proven funnel, which I provided. And this proven funnel is something that you're going to easily be able to emulate and simulate and replicate as I show you that in the third or fourth video. And then last, we just simply needed a service. Now, one of the questions that I know that you're going to have watching this video and watching the subsequent videos is what services will this method work for? This method will work for every single service that I could possibly think of in my mind. I was willing, as you know from the application requests, I was willing to work with anyone selling whatever service. And I can tell you some of the services that I have sold using this method. Recently, one is lead generation, so selling leads using this service. I've also been selling copywriting services doing this, actually very high ticket copywriting services. I was pleased with the results regarding that. And then I've also been selling some higher ticket coaching services as well, sort of consultant type services. So it can be you can sell any type of service doing this, SEO, reputation management. You could even sell services like sub-services. So maybe you watched the Alex Becker webinar or something recently and you want to sell links to people. Well, using these basic principles, you could be sold out of all your links in just, a matter of 24 to 48 hours. And you'll see, I think, when I show you what this method is, how that would work and how it's so powerful and how really inexpensive it is. One of the things that you're going to be noticing is that this is a PPC program. A lot of people are afraid of PPC because they feel like it's very expensive before they see results. They feel that they cannot do it. And I'm going to teach you how to do it properly, like literally, like you cannot fail with this method, because it is a method that not a lot of people teach, but it is like taking the best of direct mail, the best of SEO, the best of PPC, and combining it all into one concept. So this is like principle based. And then as you can see from here, this is the money that we generated from $26.02 of ad spend. So I'm going to go ahead and transition here. I may pause the video as I'm not actually sure how organized I am, but I'm going to actually show you the ad spend that we did in Facebook. So let me go ahead and show you the proof of that. Okay, so here we are, and this is the first ad that we did, that I ran. As you can see, I had a pretty low daily budget, actually, $20. You'll notice that I started running it on the 21st, 22nd, and 23rd, so I did get a little head start here. And the reason that I did that is I wanted to have a little bit of momentum going into this. To do this from zero, so like let's say you wanted to generate in 24 hours, you could do this very easily. You would just have to make more than 2 ads. So I only made 2 ads, and I'm going to show you the other ad here in a second that I actually stopped. But if you made like 10 ads and then ran them all at the same time, you could quickly cut out the bad ones and then just ramp up the other ones to more than $20 a day and just really and I'll show you all this stuff later, but I don't want you to get the idea that I was cheating or anything. This was actually more just to whittle out which ads were going to work for us, and this was the one that ended up doing much better. As you can see, we spent $18. I got a 1.5% click-through rate, which is really good for Facebook. If you get a 0.1% click-through rate, a lot of people consider that a really good click-through rate. So this is at least 10 to 15 times better than an average ad, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do that because it is so simple. You can see we got 48 clicks on this one, a really small reach, so just 1.2 thousand. Ended up getting page likes, but we didn't really care because I didn't particularly care about that. And then we had 34 post engagements, which ended up being like comments, questions, etc., which is fantastic. We even had like 2 or 3 shares, so that's all good stuff. As you can see, cost us about 55 cents per action to do that. I set the bid to 90 cents CPC, and again, I'm going to show you how to do all of this stuff, 48 clicks, all that good stuff. So these 48 clicks went into our sales funnel, and then here is the other one. This is the one that I ended up stopping. Like I said before, 0.1%, so 0.1% is typically known as a very good ad on Facebook, but I stopped this one because 0.5% was a little um, a little too low for me. Now, some of you might be looking at this and say, well, Mike, your cost per action was only 14 cents and your max bid was 28 cents and you had 56 post engagements. Isn't that more than what you were doing with the other one? And it is, except this was actually a different type of ad, and I'll show you in the later videos what kind of ad it ended up being, to where these engagements weren't actually worth what these engagements were worth, the way that the ad was set up. And I'll show you all that later. But basically, don't get confused thinking that this was cheaper, because it actually was less effective. This was a little bit more expensive, 40 cents more expensive, but these were way more effective engagements within the post, and I'll show you about all of those. Well, as a matter of fact, this was simply just answering a question. So a lot of people are answering questions, which is a very kind of cheesy and not super effective way to engage an audience. Like doing poll questions. Not really that cool. This was actually watching an 8-minute video. So 8 minutes of exposure versus 2 seconds of answering a video. And so that's why I went ahead with this one. So anyway, so I just wanted to show you those. Let's go ahead and jump into how I did all of this, and how you can do the same.